All right, let's dive into PodcastOne's latest earnings report for Q2 fiscal 26. Now, the market really liked what it saw. The stock jumped over 6%. So what's the deal? Is this just a flash in the pan? Are we looking at a real inflection point for the company? Let's dig in and find out.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, the big headline numbers, the beat. Then we'll get into the secret sauce, their AI engine. We'll also look at their new guidance and what it means for the market. Then I'll give you our take, the next call. And finally, we'll wrap up with the risks you need to watch out for.
All right, Section 1, the headline beat. And really, the story here is pretty simple. PodcastOne absolutely crushed it. We're talking a decisive outperformance across the board that took analysts by surprise.
So let's start with the bottom line. They beat on earnings per share. Now, yeah, they still posted a loss, but it was only 4 cents a share, which was a penny better than what the street was expecting. More importantly, that's a huge improvement from the 7-cent loss a year ago. You can really see that path to profitability starting to take shape here. And if you thought that was good, check out the revenue beat. We're talking about a 6% beat here. They pulled in $15.2 million, when the consensus was looking for something closer to $14.3 million. That's a whopping 22% jump year over year. That's not just growth, that's accelerating growth.
But honestly, this is the number that really got investors excited. Look at this, a positive $1.1 million in adjusted EBITDA. To put that in perspective, that's a $1.5 million swing from the loss they posted last year. This is a massive deal, people. It tells us the business model is working and they're finally getting on that road to sustainable profitability.
Okay, so you're probably wondering, how in the world did they pull this off? Well, it's not just about having great podcasts. The real story here is the technology. Let's peel back the layers and look at the AI engine that's really driving all of this.
One of the absolute superstars is Podroll. This is their dynamic ad marketplace. And get this, revenue from Podroll skyrocketed 71% year over year. 71%. It's already a 7-figure business for them, and it's become this incredible engine for high-margin, scalable growth.
And Podroll is just the tip of the iceberg. They've got this whole AI toolkit working behind the scenes. You've got Flightpath, which is basically a crystal ball for ad profitability. Then there's Booster, which speeds up the whole sales and ad ops process. And they even have tools like Opus Pro to help creators chop up long videos into perfect little social media clips. The point is, they are baking AI into every single step of the process.
So what does all this tech actually do for the business? Well, it creates something investors get really excited about, called operating leverage. It's a simple idea. As your revenue goes up, your costs don't go up nearly as fast. That means your profits grow way, way faster. And that right there is the magic behind that huge profitability swing we saw earlier. So with results like these, you can bet management is feeling pretty good. And they are. Let's take a look at their new guidance and see how the stock's been holding up. Yeah, they didn't just meet expectations, they raised the bar for the entire year. They boosted their full-year guidance for both revenue and adjusted EBITDA. We're now looking at up to $60 million in revenue and as much as $6 million in EBITDA. That's a huge vote of confidence. They're basically telling the market, hey, that Q2 performance, that's the new normal.
And has the market noticed? Oh, you bet it has. Check this out. Over the past month, PodcastOne is up a staggering 34%. Meanwhile, the S&P 500, it's actually down a little bit. When you see that kind of massive separation from the rest of the market, it tells you one thing. Investors are finally starting to believe in this AI growth story.
All right, so we've got the great results, the raised guidance, the happy market. So now for the big question. What do we do with this information? This is our take. This is the next call.
So, bottom line, we're initiating with an outperform rating here. You just can't ignore this combination. You have the big beat, the raised guidance, the AI monetization kicking into high gear, and you can literally see the operating leverage on the income statement. For us, that's a really compelling story. And look, you don't have to just take my word for it. Listen to what the company president, Kit Gray, said. He called them a leading pure-play podcasting platform powered by advanced AI tools. That's key. He's saying we are not just a content studio. This is an ad tech company that happens to be built on an incredible library of exclusive content.
Okay, so what's the actual trade here? How do you play this?
Here's how we see it, broken down into 3 simple steps. 1. The thesis. The market is getting it wrong. It's pricing PodcastOne like a boring old media company and completely missing its shift into a high-margin AI ad tech business. 2. The catalyst. What's going to make the market wake up? Them hitting the high end of that new guidance. If they do that, the street has to re-rate the stock. Which brings us to 3, the trade idea. You get in now. You establish a long position, making a bet that they meet or even beat that guidance.
So where do we see this going? Our price target is $3.30. Now that's right in line with the median analyst target, and it represents some pretty serious upside from where the stock is today if they keep executing like this.
Okay, but let's be real. No investment is a sure thing. So to give you the full picture, we absolutely have to talk about the risks. What could go wrong here?
So let's run through them. First off, even though that EBITDA number was great, they're still not profitable on a GAAP basis. That's something to watch. Second, their cash balance is a little thin, about $2.8 million. That doesn't give them a lot of wiggle room. You also have to remember they rely heavily on big partners, like Amazon. And finally, the ad market can be really cyclical. If brands pull back on spending, that's going to hurt. These are the big things that could knock this story off course.
So, to wrap it all up, PodcastOne just put a monster quarter on the board that screams our AI strategy is working. The big question now is, can they keep it up? Can they prove to Wall Street that they're a true, high-growth tech company and not just another media player? The next few quarters are going to be absolutely crucial. And just a reminder, this is not financial advice.